What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys a review for One Piece chapter 938, and oh fuck, man. It ain't oh fuck, it's ho fuck. I can't believe at the end of this chapter, Oda just drops that bombshell on us, right? Like, I had a feeling when Komurasaki was like, hey, you know, my father was like an honorable samurai, and she's doing this whole spiel, and I was like, man, that's some shit that Momonosuke would say. Given the way that Oda typically does things, I wasn't expecting it to be revealed this damn soon. You know, Oda like to drag stuff out, but I mean, we're already in Act 2 of Wano, so it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, hold on a second. Like, Oda kind of had to drop the bombshell on there. So Komurasaki is actually Hiyori, Momonosuke's older or younger sister. I guess she's older now because Momonosuke hasn't actually aged, and so that's interesting. That's interesting, man. You know, Zoro sent up there with a real ass princess right now. Like, that's wow. Oda, I see what you did there, dude. I see what you did there. Because, you know, like, when you look at One Piece and most of the islands, not all of them, but, you know, most of the islands that Luffy's been to in the manga, you know, Luffy damn near almost always has some type of an interaction with a princess. And so that's me interesting to see Luffy's interaction with Komurasaki. I guess I got to start calling her Hiyori now. But I mean, overall, like, I gotta say the reveal definitely worked for me. It definitely worked because you had little small hints of like, okay, like, you know, she's the most beautiful person, and you know, I bought into it first. I said, man, she's the scum of the earth. But you know, once, you know, Oda starts dropping these like it's the secret behind the secret type things, I'm like, that's like some Naruto shit right there. You know, hiding in plain sight would be the best way for her to actually not draw attention to herself. So I like how Oda kind of just, you know, revealed this very casually in there, and I think that it actually shows you something, because when you look at how her character was being portrayed before this and how she's acted in the presence of Zoro, it's almost like we see two different characters. And so I thought that that was cool. I think that that really just goes to show just the links, and not just Hiyori, but all the people in Wano who have loyalty to the Kozuki clan, the links they're willing to go to in order to seize the moment that's before them. And you know, it's one of those things where in life, you have these opportunities to where life gives you a chance to really do something special, to really make something special out of whatever situation you're in. And it's dependent upon you to seize that opportunity. And it's one of those things where you see all people in the capital and they're getting rounded up left and right because they've gotten spotted by the ankle tattoo. And when you look at Kinemon's plan, it's one of those things where it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant what he's got planned as far as for trying to find a way to identify people that's sympathetic to his cause and to give them a rallying cry. You're making people feel like they're belonging to something bigger than themselves, which is ultimately what all of us want anyway. I mean, if you think about it, that's why every culture has a religion. You know, people have an innate need to feel like they belong to something bigger than themselves. So when you have this big rebellion, you just see it. These people have been waiting, like, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? You know, you see how this is that moment for them. And so when you have these outsiders like Zoro coming in, and they're gonna play a big role in liberating Wano, a land that has traditionally been separated and isolated, and it's outsiders that are gonna play a role in making so much of this actually happen. It's almost like Oda's giving you a lesson on his worldviews on nationalism, which is, you know, or I guess isolationism, and on actually being a globalist. And I might be reading too much of that, it might be a little too political, but I mean, I feel like the themes are actually there. And so what I will say, to take the politic parts out of it, I definitely thought that, you know, just the reactions when Zoro ends up taking care of the person that was hunting down Hiyori, absolutely beautiful. I love the paneling on that, just each individual frame. And I like how, you know, as Zoro begins to pass out, you get this moment to where Zoro's looking at that huge hulk of a dude that he was fighting in the first place. And, you know, Zoro, you can just tell my man's steady getting pissed off over the course of the events, man. I thought that was a nice little touch right there with Zoro. And what I gotta say is that, like, as they're going through and they're hunting down all the various people that have the ankle symbols on them, and you see the reaction when Nami and Sanji, they're having a moment where Sanji's like, no, Nami, I didn't peep. You know, Oda's giving you the casual stuff of like, okay, the Straw Hats interacting, but you're also getting it offset by the fact that, you know, on the other side of Wano, they're talking about the fact that Komurasaki's wake is going to be canceled. So again, I'm looking at old boy that cut her, and I'm wondering what his relationship to the Kozuki clan is, because he said like, yeah, she's dead, he killed her, he took credit for it, and you know, he said, you know, before he went up to her, are you ready? And he gave that whole thing of like an honorable death and everything, and it just makes me wonder, it really makes me wonder, are we in a situation where he already knew that Komurasaki was Hiyori and he was probably somebody that was protecting her throughout these 20 years? It remains to be seen if that's actually going to get confirmed, but right now I would say it's trending very likely that there's going to be some type of connection in that vein there. And what I gotta say is that I like how Shinobu and Law, they have a little bit of a back and forth, because Shinobu's telling them correctly, like, look, we really need to just kill those dudes because we can't risk any intel that they're gonna be able to kind of leak out. And you get this moment where Law says they wouldn't snitch. I'm not gonna let you talk about that right there. I'm not gonna let you jump to the conclusion that they turn rat on us. I trust my crewmates. You ain't got nothing to worry about. And I like how, you know, Law before took a different stance when he was with the Straw Hats on a smaller scale. So it just kind of shows you when it comes to his own crew, there's some similarities between himself and Luffy. And yet at the same time, I feel like with how protective he is over his crew, you know, once all this Kaido stuff's over, Law's probably gonna stab Luffy in the back. I mean, that's just how this pirate game works, man. I think that that's also something Oda indirectly was showing you. Like when it came to the Straw Hats and everything, Law just sees them as a means to an end in order to take out Kaido. But when it comes to his own crew, he's a little bit more protective of them. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's your crew, you're sleeping, you're eating with them, so I can kind of understand that. But I think Oda's indirectly setting that up. But what I do like, though, is, again, Shinobu is just talking about it's been 20 years, we won't have another chance. You know, Oda's doing a really good job at just setting up the huge sense of urgency that you're getting right there. And I like how the guy that was traveling with Zoro is, you know, saying like, look, you know, we got a great battle brewing, I can't wait for everything to go down. And I like how when you get this moment where Zoro wants to go after his sword, you know, Hiyori tells him like, look, you gotta worry about that, you know, this is where the guy's likely gonna be going. You know, Zoro getting injured so close to the start of the big battle is one of those things where it makes you really wonder, was this all done for the purposes of actually little small bits of training, similar to how Luffy is getting a little bit of training right now? I wonder if Luffy and Zoro are being prepared for something even bigger. That's the thing I'm kind of wondering, because you got so many members of the worst generation, they're all here on Wano, and now you have 2 of the 4 emperors, I guess 5 emperors on the island, so I guess that's 3 of the 5 emperors once you count Luffy. So it feels like there's something big coming here, but I feel like right now Luffy and Zoro, I guess you can go Sanji in there because Sanji has that raid suit, they're not quite where they need to be. But 8 days is such a small window for them to actually get that power up. I mean, we've seen it in other series to where a full day of training is enough to close a gap. So that's gonna be interesting to see where that's coming. So, you know, my chapter question for you guys is, when it came to Komurasaki being Hiyori, how many of you guys called that in? At what point did you actually call it? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.